Gaius Julius Caesar. The very name evokes images of power, ambition, and ultimately tragedy. He was a man who rose from relatively humble beginnings to become the most powerful man in Rome. His life was a whirlwind of military conquest, political maneuvering, and ultimately betrayal. Caesar's story is not just a dry historical account, it is a tale of ambition, ruthlessness, and the seductive allure of power. It is a reminder that even the most powerful individuals are not invincible. Caesar's legacy continues to resonate through the ages. His military campaigns are studied by military strategists, his writings are pored over by historians, and his name is synonymous with power itself. He was a man of contradictions, a brilliant general who could be merciful to his enemies, a shrewd politician who could be swayed by flattery, and a ruthless dictator who genuinely believed he was acting in Rome's best interests. Caesar was born in Rome in 100 BC to a patrician family, the Julii, who claimed descent from the goddess Venus. Despite their lineage, the Julii weren't particularly wealthy or influential at the time. His early life was shaped by political turmoil. He witnessed firsthand the violence and instability that plagued the Roman Republic. These experiences would leave an indelible mark on the young Caesar, shaping his worldview and fueling his ambition. Caesar's path to power was not preordained. He had to fight every step of the way, proving his mettle in the political arena and on the battlefield. Caesar's military campaigns were legendary. He campaigned successfully in Gaul, which is modern-day France, for almost a decade. This was a brutal conflict that tested Caesar's skills to the limit. His victories in Gaul made him incredibly popular with the Roman people. His soldiers were fiercely loyal to him, and his exploits were celebrated in songs and stories. Caesar's campaigns were not just about military glory, they were also about expanding Rome's territory and enriching its coffers. Caesar was a master of logistics and strategy. He knew how to motivate his troops, how to exploit his enemies' weaknesses, and how to use the terrain to his advantage. As Caesar's power and influence grew, so too did the suspicion and envy of his rivals in Rome. The Senate, the governing body of the Roman Republic, viewed Caesar's growing power with alarm. In 49 BC, Caesar made a fateful decision. He crossed the Rubicon River, which marked the boundary between Roman territory and Gaul. This act was a declaration of war against the Roman Senate. Caesar's march on Rome was swift and decisive. His enemies were routed, and he soon became the undisputed master of Rome. Section 5. Caesar's Reforms, a vision for Rome. Once in power, Caesar implemented a series of reforms that were designed to address some of the problems that had plagued the Roman Republic for years. He granted citizenship to people in Roman territories, reformed the calendar, and addressed the issue of debt. Caesar's reforms were not without their critics. Some saw him as a tyrant who was more interested in consolidating his own power than in helping the Roman people. Despite his critics, Caesar's reforms had a lasting impact on Rome. They helped to centralize power and to streamline the Roman government. Caesar's vision for Rome was a grand one. He wanted to create a stable and prosperous empire that would last for centuries. Section 6. The Seeds of Discontent, Whispers of Conspiracy. Although Caesar was popular with the people, his growing power and ambition alienated many within the Roman elite. They saw him as a threat to the Republic and to their own power. Whispers of conspiracy began to circulate in the shadowy corridors of the Roman Senate. A group of senators, led by Caesar's former friend Brutus, began to plot against him. These men believed that they were acting in the best interests of Rome. They convinced themselves that Caesar's assassination was necessary to save the Republic. Section 7. The Ides of March, Betrayal in the Senate. On March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators in the Roman Senate. He was stabbed 23 times as he entered the Senate for a meeting. The assassination of Julius Caesar is one of the most famous events in Roman history. It was a brutal and shocking act that sent shockwaves through the Roman world. The conspirators had hoped that Caesar's death would restore the Roman Republic. Instead, it plunged Rome into a period of civil war and chaos. Section 8. The Aftermath, Rome in Chaos. Caesar's assassination did not have the effect that the conspirators had hoped for. Instead of restoring the Roman Republic, it plunged Rome into a new period of civil war. Caesar's death left a power vacuum in Rome. His adopted son, Octavian, and his loyal general, Mark Antony, emerged as the two most powerful men in Rome. The civil wars that followed Caesar's death were long and bloody. They ended with the victory of Octavian, who became the first Roman Emperor, Augustus. Section 9. Caesar's enduring legacy. Julius Caesar was a complex and contradictory figure. He was a brilliant general, a shrewd politician, and a ruthless dictator. He was also a man of great ambition, who was ultimately brought down by his own hubris. Caesar's legacy is still debated today. Some see him as a tyrant who destroyed the Roman Republic, while others see him as a visionary leader who laid the foundations for the Roman Empire. Caesar's life and death continue to fascinate us. He was a man who lived life on his own terms and who left an indelible mark on history.